Good morning, friends. We have a belter on the bench this morning, still in its case, and I think this is where I really shine. So maybe for the future I should be concentrating more on restoration than fixing, because I have a 1963 Gibson 330 and it's the first time I've ever seen one of these in the flesh, and by all accounts they are worth some money. So let's get it out of its case. This does have major issues, but not anything we can't fix or put right. There's nothing in there bar the strap pins, so we're gonna get the case out of the way like so. I'm gonna lay this beauty there. I had a friend round not knowing his favourite guitar is a Gibson 330, and I told him I got Gibson Les Paul in from 1963 but needed a lot of work, and he's same as me, he's a Guitar Tech luthier. I'll tell you who it is, it's Danny Lint from leicestershireluthier.co.uk, and he's a very good friend of mine, in as much as we both do the same job and we're both married to a Canadian woman, so we get together quite regularly. We eat together, we just do things together, we're just good friends, very good friends. And I told him about this and I opened it, he says, that's not a Les Paul, it's a 330, that's my favourite guitar. So here it is, let's talk about the guitar, not my friendships with other guitar techs. So yeah, so what is wrong with it? Well, I don't know the state of the electrics, but I'm sure they're going to need a little bit of a tinker with. But the big bad thing about this is the frets. They are flat as anything. They've got to come out, and I may struggle to get them out. But also, we have a bent neck at this end. It cocks up at this end. You can blatantly see it on this side. Yeah, you can on that side as well. But this side, you look in here. So let me just pause that and look at that. It cocks up that way. There's also, has it been repaired there? There's a lot of lacquer over there. I said to him, I'm reluctant to get any heat on that if that's glue, because it's going to come apart. But I am going to have a go at straightening it, so the nut's going to have to come out. I'm reluctant to remove the frets until I've got the neck straight. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a refret. I'm going to straighten the neck. I'm going to get the frets out. Well, I'm not going to frets out. We're going to straighten the neck. I'm going to re-radius the board. Now here, this, I don't know what it is, this substance here. I think it's putty. It's some kind of putty, that is. And this inlay has also been fixed, been filled in with some, well, it's a better colour than that. But that should have been that colour. And the colour we filled that in with should have been this. So I'm going to get that out. I'm going to sand it all back, and if nothing else, I'll stain it so it looks like wood. And then I'm going to refret it. There's also the issue with the binding here, which it's just gone back. There you go. The binding's coming away there, that's not a problem, but it won't match up because it has shrunk. So what we'll do is we'll fill that little area. So yeah, there is a budget of £500 to £600 on this, but whatever it costs, the guy's going to pay. I will charge what it costs because there's a lot of work in this, but I think this is where I really shine. Repairing and restoring, not just repairing, but restoring, getting stuff back up to spec. I don't want to lose any of the patina. I'm not interested about any of that. It will not be polished up. It will not be painted up. So let's show you some things on here. P90, I imagine, or P90 type pickups. Neck volume, neck tone, bridge volume, bridge tone, three-way. Not tried the electrics, I'm sure they're going to be cracking. We're going to eat those out. We'll take this off, we'll eat these out, have a proper look. So yeah, I would be thinking going up towards 600 quid on this one. We have Cluson type Gibson Deluxe tuners on the back there, all period correct. I don't know how they work. They seem pretty solid. Again, what we're looking at, 1963. This guitar is 60 years old. It's older than me. I'm 58. So this guitar is older than me. Fantastic. So say that if those tuners are original, fantastic. So quite a lot of work to do. I may have to replace that nut. I don't think I'll have a problem cutting a new bow nut and staining it to look like this one. We want to make it look period correct. I love these type of jobs, and I love getting stuff. I love aging stuff as well. So yeah, fantastic project this one, but like I say, £600 area to get this one done, and I'm not making any money on that. I'm working for that. you know, I will be working for it, I'll be earning that money. But yeah, that neck issue at the end, it really does need sorting out, because it's flat, and as you get to the last 2 or 3 frets, it cocks up. And I'm not 100% that has not had a headstock repair. It looks like it might have had one, because that's extra varnish on there. So I think that's a repair. And I did say to him, if I think that's a repair, I'm not putting any heat on it, because it will come apart. And what I'm going to have to do is, instead of straightening this, I'm going to have to sand it back and remove this to make it level, to make it straight, which means this binder is going to be a lot thinner at this end than that end. He said, you know what, it's got no financial value for him at all. He says, I just want it playable. I want to be able to play it. So whatever you need to do to get it playable, doesn't matter. Don't worry about the value, because he'll never sell it. So I will do my very, very best to get that straight. I'm sure I could clamp it back from underneath and get some heat even through the back if I have to, get some gentle heat through there, and I'm sure I can straighten this neck without causing any more damage. The putty situation, I won't be eking it out, but I'll certainly be sanding that back, and just to make it look right, I may just stain it. Regarding fret wire, well, look at these frets. They don't even go to the edge of the binding, so I'm going to go over the binding. We're going to give a lot more width on that, give you a lot more bendability on the notes. But yeah, what a guitar, a piece of history, a piece of Gibson history. Now, the oldest Gibson I've restored before was the 1973 Gibson Custom, which was worse than this. And I managed to save that one, straighten the neck, refret it, what have you, and I did that for £700. That had a lot of hours. It probably had 70 hours in it. This may get round about the same. I can already see the radius on this end, the nut end, is not right. I'm going to have to use some trickery here to get this refretted, because the frets, they go that way, and as you get to the edges, they go right down. So the radius is not like that. The radius is like that, pretty much like that, and when you get to the ends, it drops both sides. So that is going to be another area of concern. So let's see how we get on. I'm going to plug it in a minute and have a little play and see what it sounds like. I'm sure it's going to sound marvellous if the electrics work. But yeah, so leave it with. We'll do a little bit of tinkering on this one later. I've got other projects to nip back on. I just wanted to get something down on video, just so I can show the owner. He drove all the way down from Bury, I believe, up Manchester way. Again, he's a brother in Christ, as Christian, which is fantastic. The Lord sends me these people, that's brilliant. And a great guy. He spent a good hour and a half here. We had a good chat, we had a coffee and everything. Really, really nice guy to talk to. His name's John. And we had a good time. So really looking forward to doing this one. It's going to be great fun, it's going to be a great project. And let's hope, let's pray that I do this one justice. Back with the 330, and I've not sent the appraisal video off to the client yet. I'm just going to add this little bit to it. As much as I am a little bit worried about the headstock ever being broke before or being snapped before and it's been bodged over, there's another area of concern for me, and that is, see if we can get it, see if we can get the guitar in a place. Right, okay. That's as good as anything. I'm resting it on my bin, actually. It's this area of the neck, not where it just kinks up and bends upwards at the end, but where the frets are. From about 3mm in, the frets, they go over, say that's your radius, but the frets at the end go down on both sides. So on one side they go like that, one side. So instead of getting your uniform crown, let me get a piece of paper and a pen. And I'll show you what I mean, if I can find a blank piece. There'll be a blank piece in here somewhere. I'm not big on spare paper. Right, okay, so I've got a piece of paper here. Do I have a pen? Of course I have a pen. So I'm going to draw your fret radius. So that's your fret. That's a pretty good drawing. Ignore the bit where I've gone over. So there's your normal fret. Absolutely fine drawing. And that's your radius of your neck, so that's your cross section of your neck. So your neck goes basically, let's go. There's your neck, And there's your radius. It's a lot more pronounced than it actually is in real life. It's going to be a lot flatter than that. But my concern with this one is, I'm going to draw your radius, but what happens is, there's your radius of your fret, but at the edge, it drops down more at an angle, like that. So there's your normal radius, but it drops down a little bit more. Probably not as pronounced as that, but it doesn't follow the radius. And that means I'm going to have to hammer the frets in, then press them down at these edges even more at a different angle, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to re-radius the whole board to make that proper radius where it's constant along the whole length of the neck. Not that I don't want it doing this drop down effect at each side as it does at the moment, and that's way more pronounced than it actually is on the guitar, but I don't want that. I want that regular, that line there, I want that regular radius with no drop down there. So that's going to be more difficult to achieve. I think what I'm going to have to do is just ignore what it's doing right now, take the nut out and just radius the whole board, get the neck straight, or as straight as I can, and just re-radius the whole board. That is what I'm going to do. I'm worried that it's going to thin the neck too much at this end and cause a more of a stress point or a weak point, because for instance, your weakest part of the neck is here, this area, because your truss rod sits in there. So your truss rod basically is only adjustable from this fret here up to about the 14th or 15th fret up here. So your truss rod only works from these two areas of my fingers. Your truss rod adjuster's in there, so with that hole drilled in there, that is your weakest point of the neck. This is why Gibson headstocks always snap. They always snap here, because you've got a big hole in here where your truss rod is. And what I don't want to do is, I don't want to be applying heat to this area if it's already been fixed, and it would just pop off and snap, because then I've got to glue it back and fix it again. I'm not going to be able to straighten it. Now what I also want to avoid is where it cocks up at this end. Right, I don't want to have to sand that and flatten it and remove half of this binding, because your binding is going to be about 2 mil wide. If I'm taking material off from the top of a binding to make it straight, it's going to cause us an insurmountable amount of problems, really. So let me show you where I am. I'm going to stick some tape where I think this needs flattening. It'll explain it a lot better. And these are my areas of concern. Now, I know it's a big project. I knew it was a big project from day one. But what's going to happen with this is, if I sand this flat, and let me show you here, we're going to lose. Now this is not exactly how it's going to go, but it gives you an idea. If I sand that so it's straight, we're going to lose this top half of the binding lot. See where it joins there? Because if I know it that line dead straight, don't want to do that. I'd rather bend the neck down to where that point of the top of that tape is. And I know it's not perfectly level. It's not going to hit exactly, but it gives you the idea. If I straighten it just by filing and by sanding, I'm going to remove that much of the binding, and that is just not going to look right, and I'm not going to be happy with it. So my plan is to get this neck straight. What I'm going to do today is, this video now I'm going to send to the client right up till, well, not this point, till I finish this bit. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the strings off, and I'm going to have a look at that neck. I'm going to try and get the nut out, and I'm going to have a look at that neck and see what I can do to straighten it. I'm going to take the tuners out, or the machine heads, and I'm going to have to back clamp it with heat. Now the thing is this, it's a non-removable neck, so the guitar is going to have to be clamped on my other bench. I've only got 2 benches in here. It's going to take a bench away from me, so I don't want to be spending too much time on it. And I know I can do it and get it done within a day, because I can't afford to not have 2 benches running at the moment. I've got too many clients in the queue, and I need, I need the money. That's why I'm here. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to end this video just here now, and I'm going to send this part of the video onto the client. And from this moment onwards, or after I finish this part of the video, that's where the real work is going to start. It's going to begin. It's going to be a big project. It's going to take time. There's going to be a lot of information. There's going to be a lot of things for you to see. Hopefully you'll learn something. And but I will be doing what I love doing the most, and that is restoring old guitars to get them perfectly playable, if not as good as factory, better than when they left for factory. That is what I'm all about. I'm more about restoration than I am repair. So, let's go forward with this one, and Lord willing, we'll get it perfectly playable. I know I will do that anyway, but yeah, that's good stuff, so stay tuned guys.